Thank you for watching Meatsauce Monty. I'm Matt Montgomery. As you can see, Paul Meatsauce Lambert is absent this week. He had some other work obligations. So we've got Dan, the Common Man Cole from KFAN 100.3 FM. Midday Romeo. What other nicknames do you go by?
No, it's the Radio.
Oh, Radio Romeo.
The Radio Romeo, the Dream of the Everyday Housewife, the official unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf, the Buffoon at Noon. You name it, I'll answer to anything.
Cooley? You still go by Cooley?
That's
that goes back a little bit.
Yeah, that was when the radio station was in its infancy.
Yeah.
And you know, if you listen to...
I listen to Cooley.
You listen to radio stations, you'll hear, you know, I'm Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, and when I'm in town, I listen to WXYZ. He's never listened to XYZ in his life.
No.
So sports stations, what they do is they go up to athletes, and they go, here, will you say you listen to this? So they went up to that. It was a member of the St. Paul Saints, of all things.
Oh,
and they went up to him and say, okay, will you say, because my nickname at the time was, it's Dan Cole, so I was Coley.
Coley.
So they said, will you say I listen to Coley? And he goes, I listen to Cooley, because he thought it said Cooley.
Cooley.
So I go by Cooley if you want to call me that, sure. But it goes to show you the fraudulence of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because we were going to put something on that says, he never listened to me in his entire life, just like Mick Jagger's never listened to WXYZ.
You said the radio station was in its infancy. Did you guys have a relationship with the Saints back then?
No.
So that's why you were trying to use that guy?
No, we just thought it would be cool to get anybody we could to try to talk about how much they loved the radio station, even if they'd never heard of it.
Well, it's not that hard nowadays because it seems like everybody, everywhere you go, they love the fan. They know you. They know Meatsauce. Most of them know Barrero. I think a lot know Paul Allen. I think you guys are doing okay. I think we're setting TV history because we are on the CW Sunday mornings. We're a pregame show. Thursday Night Lights here at Mystic Lake. Beautiful scenery, great place to be.
Delighted to be here.
It's fantastic to be here. We used to be in the CW basement. You remember that. But the Vikings this week, it's Thursday night football. So I think we're setting history that we are a pregame, postgame, before the games even happen.
As we speak, they haven't kicked off, but right about when we're wrapping this up,
that's right,
they will have played 8-10 minutes.
I almost thought we should do a bit where we should have put headphones on and we should have been like Aikman and Joe Buck and tried to, we could have called it,
who would you play, Buck or Aikman?
Well, who would you want to be? I'd probably have to be Joe Buck just because that's...
Yeah, I'd rather be the Aikman
Yeah,
guy,
you could be
I
funny.
Yeah.
I could just do the play-by... I'd be the dry, straight guy and you just
You
come
do
out.
the straight stuff and I'll do the play-by-play.
Yeah.
Though it's hard for me to idolize and pedestalize these guys too much, and that's what Analyst Guy does.
Well, that's why we'd be making fun of them.
He's the greatest quarterback ever.
No.
What a great arm he's got. He's just spectacular, and I can't do that, but...
You could if it was a gig.
Well, for the right money. Sure, I'd do whatever you want me to, yeah.
All right, so in today's show, we're going to talk Vikings and their loss to the Bills. We'll try to, a little Nostradamus is what I'm going to call it. I think that's what you go by.
Yeah, Nostradamus.
That's another one. We forgot about that at the beginning. So we'll talk about I'm going to pretend that the Vikings lose. Let's just say it that way. That's how I'm going to go.
To the Rams.
To the Rams.
This evening.
Thursday night, even though we're on Sunday morning.
Correct.
Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I have a hard time picking the Vikings. And it's funny how it can change so dramatically from week to week.
Yeah.
Your impression of a team or your opinion of a team, because starting the year, I like what they had put together like everyone else, and I said, I think they'll beat San Francisco at home, and they did.
Yeah.
I said, I think they can beat Green Bay at Lambeau, and they should have.
They
and
almost
then I
did.
said, it's going to be a laugher. They'll destroy Buffalo.
Yep.
And then lo and behold, it was just the opposite. It's 27-6.
Absolute opposite.
So then with what's happened with Everson Griffin.
Yep.
With the offensive line being a mess.
Yep.
With Cousins going back to fumbling like that's his penchant. That's one of the negatives against Cousins is his inability to hang on to the football. He fumbled not once, not twice, but 3 times against the Bills. 2 recovered by the Bills that led to points. And they're playing a very talented Rams team who, if you look at the power rankings, they've got them ranked the #1 team in football. It's hard and then if you believe in the circadian rhythm stuff where
West
traveling
Coast
on a Tuesday to traveling 2 time zones well, how do you even, with a straight face, say, I think the Vikings are going to win this game?
It's hard to do.
That being said, they could, but it would be hard for me to pick them.
I think this goes one of 2 ways. Either they win, and it's the game that propels them back to they're a contender. Everybody says, oh, that game against Buffalo was just a blip on the radar. They're going to be fine. They just beat the best team in football on the road. Or they get absolutely crushed, and it's just a repeat of what happened against Buffalo, and then people say this season's over.
Well, if they get crushed, that would be obviously the worst thing. Not just so much for the standings, but, psychologically. For the team and the fan base, it would be like, are you kidding me? I mean,
the fan line is just going to...
If you'll remember, it's not identical to 2009 into 2010, but it's similar. Favre and the Vikings got to the NFC Championship game, lost in overtime, and then it was unfinished business. We were going to come back as almost...
Favre came back after they thought he was not going to come back. They get him back in. One more run.
Almost every other player was back. And then you saw what happened. I think they lost the first 2 games right away. They went 6-10. Favre's career ended.
The roof, so they're at the bank.
Right.
The surface was ice cold. Favre gets body slammed.
Bam. Gets
done.
Concussion. His career is over. And then you look at the 2017 Vikings NFC Championship game. Now, it was a lot closer than people think.
Magic with Keenum.
At 38-7. I mean, all the Vikings needed to do was score touchdown,
2-point
conversion onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion onside kick. Stop me when we get to 38. But then we go back and you're thinking same thing. And we even upgrade. Most people feel the quarterback position was an upgrade. And we get, with Cousins, we get Sheldon Richardson, which was considered an upgrade in the middle. And Dalvin Cook coming back and hopefully healthy for a whole year. And we did make a lot of additions on the offensive line, but they, put a couple of different pieces in. And people saying, if the offensive line can be, if they don't spring a leak, this team's got Super Bowl written all over them. And what's happened?
They already sprung a leak.
So now, if you get destroyed by the Rams and go to 1-2-1, and then have to travel to Philadelphia with a healthy Wentz against the defending Super Bowl champions,
you're looking at 1-3-1.
It doesn't look good at all.
However, not to get too far ahead, but so you're 1-3-1. Then week 6, you got the Cardinals, who I think are one of the worst teams in the league right now.
That's an awful franchise.
And then the Jets, also one of the worst teams. So you could, after week 7, be 3-3-1. 500 probably isn't where you want to be. However, I get it. It's on paper. You got to play the game. But let's just say worst case scenario: we lose 2, we win 2, we're back to 3-3-1. 500, you got a shot.
Yeah, but again, it all depends upon how the rest of the North pans out. I mean, I would still. I know Green Bay lost to Washington, so you go, oh, Green Bay. But, you're going to lose some games.
Of course.
And you never count out Rodgers and Green Bay. So 3-3-1 certainly would be, it beats the alternative. But, yeah, I mean, they would still be in it, sure, but a lot of it depends on what the rest of the North does.
Okay. So what do you think are the keys to the Vikings beating the Rams on the road?
You got to get to Gurley early, and you got to hope that Goff is off.
There you go. I love it. See,
I always thought we were doing this serious.
No.
Joe Buck, Troy Aikman.
I love your bits, and I just toss them to you and let you continue to go with them. Vikings picks. So I'm picking it's Thursday night, it's Sunday morning. This isn't post-mortem, but I think they're going to lose. You think they're going to lose?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's just difficult to pick them. I mean, the way, in all seriousness, how they win.
Yeah.
I think what they have to do is they need to force some turnovers. They need to get real aggressive, take some chances, because
a lot of luck.
They have a terrific defensive front with Donald and Sue.
Dominican Sue.
They have a great running game with a quarterback that knows how to move the ball around. Yeah. Their head coach is an offensive guru.
He's a young kid.
You got to go at this. You got to go after them aggressively and say, it's the old go out on your shield. We're either going to stay with them, and we're going to come out swinging. Otherwise, I think you're going to get knocked back and you can't win.
Well, if you want to make some picks, you got to come here to Mystic Lake. Pints and Pigskins on Thursdays to Sundays all season long from 12 to 6 p.m. Throw your best spiral. You can score up to $25 in free slot play. Plus, you could win $10,000 worth of free slot play if you are the season's highest single-day scorer. All right, we've also got the game day pick and play, 7 to 11:45 Sundays all season long. Get in the game every Sunday this season. Make your picks for a shot at the jackpot. You got to come here to Mystic Lake or Little Six. Dane Cook is coming here to Mystic Lake on Saturday, October 6th, 7 p.m. and at 10:30 p.m. at Mystic Showroom. Cook has maintained his reputation as one of today's most prolific stand-up comedians while simultaneously distinguishing himself as a charismatic and versatile actor in a variety of film and television projects. And Bobby Slayton, October 5th and 6th, 7:30 and 10 p.m. at the Mystic Comedy Club, Dakota Ballroom. For over 30 years, comedian Bobby Slayton has been captivating audiences with his intense and energetic stand-up. Slayton has appeared on hit movies and television shows like Get Shorty, Dreamgirls, and Family Guy, making him one of the best-known and respected comedians in the industry. 25K cash drawings Fridays in October. Start your weekend with stacks of bills in your wallet. Enter for your chance to win $25,000 cash every Friday here in October. Plus, don't miss the drawings for up to $1,000 of free slot play. It's definitely Friday at Mystic Lake. Gophers. Normally we don't get to talk about them because we're a Thursday Night Lights gig and they're Saturday. It's a bye week for them. They're coming off a horrible loss at Maryland. Are you a PJ Fleck guy? Now, you can be honest, but you don't have to be too harsh, but you don't have to have the kid gloves on either.
This is what I've said, and I've been consistent, what I've said on the radio. If he were hired at the radio station where I work as my boss, at almost 60 years old, I couldn't buy into the rah-rah stuff. I'd say, save that for somebody else. I don't need that. But with 18, let's even go back, because he's probably talking to 17-year-old kids when he's out recruiting.
Yeah.
When you're talking to 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, that might work. And if it does, great. If that method works, it doesn't bother me. It wouldn't. I'm going to roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and shake my heads with the rah-rah stuff. Is he completely full of hot air? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But, now it's year 0 and, young kids and
0.1?
and elite and this and everything. And so far, I've seen, and I know they're young, and that's why I'm not saying, well, fire the guy.
Yeah,
you give him a few more years, and you hope that he. I keep hearing better recruiting classes. Well, we heard that for the last few coaches. Yeah. Maybe these kids will grow, get better, mature. Other kids will be attracted to the program that are approaching blue chip status, and maybe the program will turn around and become a Wisconsin type program. But until I see it, I can't believe it. And just because a guy says it's going to happen, that doesn't necessarily mean it's so.
Do you go to games? Do you bring the boys to games? I'm saying as a fan, because I went to a couple games already this year. It was fun. I've got friends who are season ticket holders. But those same people, the husband likes them. The wife does not like Fleck. She's not into it. She doesn't buy it either. She's like, I don't care, but we'll keep the tickets. You go?
No. I've taken, when the stadium first opened, I brought the boys to a couple games. We went to the very first game, home against Arizona. They won. I went to the Wisconsin game where we got killed. The axe was on the line. Yep. And then I went to one other game against Purdue. So I've been to 3 games. I think that was all in the first 2 seasons. And I've not been back. And, that's not really a reflection on where the program is. I've made this clear on the air, too. I'm just not a big go-to-game guy.
Sure.
I like my couch.
Sit at home on the couch.
At the TV, watching it. I like that.
TV.
But, what I thought was a little... And now I'm going to make an editorial about the editorial board at the Fish Wrap West Side, the Star Trib. Yeah. They had some editorial that said, it's time for you to go support this program and buy tickets. It's like, just because the taxpayers built the stadium, paid to build the stadium, and just because the team's attendance hasn't been where they would like it to be, and the team hasn't been performing like they wanted to, I'm obligated to buy tickets and support the university. I don't buy that at all. I'll buy tickets to what I want to. Yeah. But, I think it would take care of itself if the team started winning games, got the axe back, got the pig back, got the jug back, and
Liberty Bell.
Yeah, there's a couple other
trophies.
trophies.
With a shingle or whatever that is.
You start getting some of those back, and I think people will start going to the games. They'd go again. People do you've heard this before. Yeah. I'm not breaking any. This isn't any new ground. There's a fight for your entertainment dollar.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are the 4 professional teams, not including the Lynx. Then you have all the Gopher teams. You have the ML, the Loons.
MLS.
You have the St. Paul Saints. Yep. I mean, there's so many ways. And then
high school sports,
and then there's
Friday
even
nights.
just going to theaters, going to shows, whatever the case may be. Out to eat. And so it's like, well, if I go to a game and the hometown team's not playing well, I might not want to go to a lot. I might go to one a year, but I like, most people do like cheering for a winner. And until these programs start winning, I think they're going to have trouble at the gate.
All right. How many times have you been a guest on somebody else's show where they interview you? Having your own program every day for 3 hours, you got to get used to being the guy that is doing the talking.
Maybe a couple 13, 14 times.
Really?
Yeah.
So I wanted to give you a chance. You've helped us out a lot. You're helping us out being here instead of Paul.
That's what I do.
I said I wanted to talk to you about your book. So there's your book. You get a chance to... That's a beautiful cover. Is that your artwork, or did somebody...
No, we hired somebody for this.
Nice. The hat, the glasses.
Isn't it nice?
That was before your teeth. I can see the little gap there.
Yeah, he put the gap in there. I've got the author picture. I wish you could get
look
closer
at
to that. That was intentional.
That's a very serious picture.
Well, you have to do the author picture. And people that know me know I did that.
The thinker.
Strictly. You like that?
So, honestly, I want to know, what led you to want to write this book?
Straight cash, homie. What happened was...
I was gonna say, you can be funny, you can be honest, you can say you wanted to share your story with the world.
Amy Quayle of Wise Inc. approached me several years ago and said, I'd like to talk to you about writing a book. And I said, hey, I would love to do that. We sat down and talked. And unlike a famous author like a Twain or a Hemingway, where they get advances to do their book, this is one where you have to help pay the freight. And I was like, not sure I'm really interested in doing that right now. Went our separate ways. Contacted me later, said, how about a different kind of plan of how we put it together? I said, this is more palatable for me, and I thought it might be kind of fun. I did not know what I was going to write. And then I just started putting, I guess I can't say pen to paper, though I did start with just a notebook. The first things I wrote were at the Mall of America. It's Nickelodeon Universe now, I think. And I said my boys were on rides, and I was writing. And so I wrote a lot of it there, and then I would transfer it over to get onto the computer, you know, and type it in. And I just started tapping out words and stories and just put it all together, and it worked out really well because I mean, you know, it's not Hemingway or Twain. It's probably more Edgar Allan Poe-like. It's got a little Poe to it. And people seem to like it and enjoy it, and I broke even and then some a little bit.
There you go.
I'm not paying
cash, homie.
I'm not paying for the kids' college education, but I made some money on it. It was fun to do, and it's I'm going to call it a labor of love.
Okay.
I did enjoy doing it. People ask me, they'll say, how long did it take you to write it? You know, from the time you agreed to do the book till the time it was printed, or how long did it take sitting at and I wish I would have kept track of both those time frames.
Hours.
Because I don't know. But I will tell you this, and this isn't me trying to say, oh, I'm a natural, but the stories in here are stories I've either told to people for years, told on air, that I already kind of had pre-written them already. So it wasn't like I had to, I have to tack. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell the story about when my car started on fire in Iowa. And then I've told the story hundreds of times. So I just typed it out. So every story I wrote was kind of stories I'd already done. So it didn't take me particularly long to do it.
Did it take you down memory road though? Was there stuff that you had to reach back and you're like, oh yeah, high school. Why did I drop out? The School of Hard Knocks. Was there anything like that you're like that you had to dive deeper than what you thought when you agreed to the book deal?
There were things I suppressed. Yeah, so, things I suppressed, and I cut open a vein in there. No, I sort of knew the stories I was going to do, but it's interesting. Things would pop into my head that I hadn't even thought about in years. One of them is about going to going to my first concerts.
Where was? You don't have to give away.
Well, the first concert I went to was at the Met Sports Center. Was Bachman Turner Overdrive and the Climax Blues Band. That led to me talking about the Metropolitan Sports Center, which I'd seen many great events at, including a lot of prize fights involving the late Scott LeDoux, which also led me to meeting Muhammad Ali, which I talk about in the book. That in the book, because he was in town for the LeDoux-Holmes fight, and he was holding a news conference, and after the news conference, I ran into him and shook his hand. So it's just stories like that I actually hadn't thought about in a long time, and go, oh, I remember when that happened, and one kind of led to another, and it was, it kind of wrote itself, I guess is what I'm saying. And guess what? It's only $25 a book.
And what does that include?
It includes shipping, handling, tax, title, license, and gratuity.
Was this, I was going to say, you probably have it in the book. What led you to doing comedy, or what led to your career in radio? Because from what I know, listening to you for many years on K-Fan, you always say you dropped out of school, you got years of high school.
4 years of college eligibility, 2 of high school.
Yeah, which is a great joke. What led you to your career? What brought us to the common man from, I mean, you would have never said, if I could see my future self, I'm dropping out of high school and I'm going to be doing good, going to be in my 50s, and I'm going to be still doing the daytime.
I dropped out of high school, and I was doing blue-collar jobs. Yeah. And after a while, I just thought to myself, you know, this might not be what I want to do forever. I want to do something I really enjoy. And a friend of mine had gone to Brown Institute, so I thought, well, why not? Yeah. Radio sounds kind of fun. And, you know, when I was a kid and we were playing football games and baseball games, I was the guy that kind of did the play-by-play. Yeah. So people thought, you should be in radio doing play-by-play. Now, I didn't get into radio to do sports talk or to be a disc jockey. I wanted to be a news person. I wanted to be I wanted to be the next Walter Cronkite.
Did you really?
Well, not really, but I mean, I wanted to do news. That was the first job.
Yeah.
The first job I took in radio was at a radio station in Great Falls, Montana, KQDI, and I was a news reporter. I was a news anchor. I would do the morning news on the morning show, and then I'd go out and do reporting.
Wow.
And then I liked it. I enjoyed it. I stuck with it. I didn't love radio. I just liked that it didn't feel like work. No, but seriously, it was fun. It was like it wasn't like some of my other jobs,
like
working at a factory or something like that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But this was like
it didn't fit you.
It didn't fit me. And this was like, well, I get to go and just talk on the radio and go cover city council meetings and go down to the cop shop and take a look at the police reports from the night before and put something together. And it was interesting. It was fun, and that led to some sports stuff. And I ended up doing some DJ stuff, even though I didn't want to. But I just liked. It wasn't like, a lot of guys in radio I love radio.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't really, I don't really love radio. I just liked that it didn't feel like a job anymore.
Yeah. Does it still feel like a job, or
no.
You still love it?
I feel like I'm semi-retired. My job kind of interferes with the rest of my life. I got to stop my day at noon to do a 3-hour talk show.
Work.
Share my idle thoughts with the listeners, and then go back into the rest of my day. Yeah.
Is there anything else? Where can people get the book?
commonmanbook.com. Only $25, includes tax, title, license, shipping and handling,
and gratuity.
And gratuity.
Yeah. Thank you for talking about the book, and thank you for being our guest. Our last segment, I like to call it Honest Opinion. I just throw something out there, you give me what you think. Joe Mauer, are you still privy to numbers that the rest of us are with the Mauer family?
They're big.
Do you think he's retiring?
Big. I think he is, and I was convinced by my producer, Tenabe, who thought Joe's not the kind of guy that's going to want to pull a Kobe Bryant and announce at the beginning of the year, this is my last year.
He doesn't want to have the full farewell tour.
Right, I don't think he wants to do that and have rocking chairs and gold watches. And I think he wants to kind of let people know he's thinking about it so that it's not a total shock.
Yeah.
But now both of us, he's convinced me of that, Tenabe. He could be totally wrong. Joe comes back for another year or two. But I kind of think this might be it, where he just says, I've had enough and I'm gone. Because people talk about how he doesn't have a real personality. He's low key, keeps to himself. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that really is him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he likes all that limelight.
He doesn't want the limelight. No.
I think this is it. I do.
Man.
You don't?
I hope not. In all honesty, it'd be hard because it's like a passing of a generation. The Twins are garbage this year. I think without him, people like my son, who's the player that they'd watch? Who's the player that Dozier's gone? Who are they going to hang the hat on to say they're the face of the franchise? I don't know. That's why I hate to lose Joe.
It would have to be, at this point, Buxton or Sano. And I don't know if either one of those guys will be that guy, but that would be the answer. If it's not Mauer, you would hope it's one of those two guys, but that remains to be seen.
Timberwolves, Jimmy Butler, his holdout, Coach Tom Thibodeau. Basically, there are rumors swirling about these guys that they're holding out too steep of a price to trade to somebody else. The rumor now that Thibodeau says he wants to get fired. I mean, they had media day. They're supposed to be in training camp. What is going on? Is this season already in the garbage for these guys?
It's all the timing of this and that and the other thing. And, everybody's got a different agenda.
Jimmy Buckets just wants money?
Well,
is that what you hear?
Well, that's what, Now, I don't know what to believe because every camp has a different spokesperson, and somebody else said this and this source says that.
Yeah.
The Butler camp says the idea that he wanted to make it a $150 million contract because he wanted certain Wolves players, get rid of these guys and pay me more. They're saying that was all concocted by the Wolves. That's not even close to the truth. So I don't really know who to believe other than I do think he's one of those guys that he wants his money, but I don't think he thinks the younger guys on the team have that burning desire
to win
that he does.
Wiggins especially.
Right. And I think even Big Meow, because it sounds like it's Big Meow and
there might be rumors and they're unfounded about those guys. I get that.
But I think it might be. I think it might be more of a disappointment with Towns' his lackadaisical approach than Wiggins. And everybody considers Butler a top 15 guy. So does he deserve to be the highest paid player on his team and be the guy? I guess, but I don't.
The future is in Cat.
Well, yeah,
right?
but I don't know if Butler is. Yeah, well, the Wolves had to go that direction.
Yeah, Butler wanting to be the man doesn't really matter.
But I'm talking about as he moves on.
Oh,
if he goes somewhere
sure,
else,
like Miami,
does he think he's going to be the man there? I don't think a team that has Jimmy Butler as their number one guy, even though he's a top 15 player, he's the number one guy, and then you build around him. I don't know if that's good.
If they can win, maybe in the East, but not in the West.
Right.
You're going to love this. I don't know if you've heard of this. I think ESPN just came out with it. This will be the end of our show. The Sports Misery Index. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know if they brought that up on the program or not.
No, they do that. I think yearly.
Every year.
Yeah.
Their formula is based off playoff berths, championships, playoff wins, heartbreaking losses, and rival comparison. Did you know, or do you know, who do you think has a worse franchise, the Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions?
I would say it'd have to be Detroit.
It's Chicago.
It is Chicago.
According to their, mathematical equation, the Bears are the 10th worst. Detroit is the 13th worst. Detroit has been to the playoffs 3 times in the last 7 years. They've lost 9 playoff games in a row, which is a record. They've been there 3 times since Chicago's last time, even in the postseason. So that's really what makes the difference between the 10th spot and the 13th spot.
I don't know. The Bears were in an NFC Championship game back in against the Packers. They've got a Super Bowl victory. Lions
in '85.
Yeah, but still.
But see, that's the whole point. Time does matter in their, so the worst teams on the Sports Misery Index: Sacramento Kings, San Diego Padres, the Cleveland Browns, and then the Florida Panthers. The best franchises: New England Patriots, Golden State Warriors, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Francisco Giants.
Where are the Vikings?
The Minnesota Sports, the worst team we have. Number 29, Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 40, Minnesota Twins, despite those 2 World Series wins.
Right.
69 is the Vikings. 81 is the Wild.
Yeah.
So the Wild, they're technically our best franchise. They're the least miserable.
Somebody that pays much closer attention to baseball than I do, because I'm not paying as close attention as I once did. Since the stadium opened, the new one, the goose that laid the golden egg, Target Field,
that's right.
The Twins have the worst record in baseball.
That's absolutely true.
Ever since and if you remember,
that time span,
we were told we can't compete unless we get a new stadium.
I know. Isn't that crazy? So that's going to do it for this week. So right now, either the Vikings are 2-1-1, 1-2-1, or 1-1-2.
I think they're 1-2-1.
I think they're 1-2-1.
I think you're right.
Common. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. All right, we'll see you back here next week.